My name is Christina Gardner, and I'm from Montclair, New Jersey, and I did my undergraduate degree in computer engineering at Syracuse University. I got my master's degree from here at Tech in computer science, and I'm now working on my PhD in computer science here at Tech. I've worked at IBM since, well, I worked for IBM for 5 summers. Is it 4 summers? 4 summers. Sophomore, junior, and senior year, I did internships, so that's 3 summers, and then like a 9-month co-op internship with them between undergrad and grad school. So I've worked in a number of different divisions within IBM. My research area is learning sciences and technology, and I chose it because I actually worked in industry between undergrad and grad school for 9 months, and I just realized, wow, I really don't like the working world, and so I wanted to kind of do something different from computer engineering, which was my undergrad degree. And so that kind of spurred me into looking at different areas in computer science, and I stumbled upon learning sciences and technology, and that really got me excited because I'm really excited about helping people learn and understanding how people learn. So learning sciences and technology allowed me to take my technical skills to help build technology and learning environments and couple that with my passion to help people learn. So far I've been on a GRA with my advisor for, I'm in my 3rd year of the PhD, for the first 2 years, and this past year I've been funding it through doing TAs. Well, I hope to be a professor at hopefully a more research-oriented university. I'm very much interested in research more so than teaching because I kind of like to watch other people teach versus me actually doing the teaching. But I do recognize the value of teaching, and I have teaching experience. So definitely I'm looking for something that's more research-oriented than teaching. But I understand that both of those roles and responsibilities are part of being a professor. I didn't like having to do the same thing every day, work on the same project every day. When I worked in the working world, granted, I never had a full-time position. I always had internships. But I really like being able to change what I'm doing. And so in grad school and in just working in academia, you're working on 2 or 3 different projects at any given time. So if you're tired of one, you go work on something else. And so you get that diversity, and any given day is different for me. So one day I might just be reading papers, another day I might be running a study. So there's a lot of diversity in and flexibility of how I can work my schedule. So that's one of the reasons why an academic position and being in the PhD program was very attractive to me. The major transition I see between undergrad and a PhD is undergrad, you just basically do the coursework and you're done. So at the end of the semester, you're done with that course and you move on. However, in the PhD program, there is no end of. It's whenever you finish, whenever you get something to a completion point. And that's something that you and your advisor set up. So it's not as clear and finite as undergrad was. So undergrad was very much like you had project 1, 2, and 3, and you had deadlines for those. And so whenever they were done, whenever that deadline came, you were done with them, even though you might not have been at a completion point in wherever you were with the project, because maybe you ran out of time. You just didn't develop your ideas as far as you could go. Whereas in the PhD program, you're encouraged to develop those ideas as far as they can go and keep refining them and going over and over in them. So that's way different than undergrad. And so that's one major difference. The second one is just, in undergrad, you just had to, basically complete somebody else's requirements. PhD is totally, you're driven by you. So you definitely have to make sure that you are a internally motivated type of person. Otherwise, you'll get stuck. I don't know if I know a misconception. I guess the major misconception with PhD programs are that, oh, I'm just going to get in and out. that there's this, like I do it for 3 years and I'm done, or I do it for 4 years and I'm done. And it doesn't quite work that way. It's definitely about, how long it takes you to get done what you need to get done to graduate, how long it takes you to develop your ideas. There's some people that can develop an idea very quickly and they're out in maybe 4 years, 3 or 4 years. There's other people that take a longer time to develop your ideas. And so you might be in there for 5 or 6 years. So it's definitely driven by you. So I guess the misconception is the average time or the typical time is what's is kind of guaranteed, but that's not true. The best thing about being in a PhD program is the flexibility to just, you get paid to just pursue things that are interesting to you. So that's one of the best things. And you get paid to research and read. My passion is reading. I love reading. So it's kind of like, you're paying me to read? You're paying me to do this stuff? Cool. The worst thing, and also the flexibility. That's really one of the best things. The worst thing about being in a PhD program, but it's really not a bad thing, but it's just part of the process, is that you think you got like this really great idea, and so you go and you try to find prior research on it just to make sure that nobody else has it, and like maybe 6 or 7 times you'll find, darn, somebody else has already done that. So that's a little discouraging, but other than that, it helps you build your literature review of what's out there. So you definitely, if you end up kind of building on an idea, you definitely have that part already done. But the disappointing part is like, oh, I thought my idea was so novel, because that's one of the major parts of the PhD, is definitely coming up with a novel idea and doing research on it. Typical. I don't know if I have a typical day or week. Every semester is different. Semesters where you're taking classes, it's really a lot of reading and group meetings and designing and running, well, not really running experience, but kind of designing and doing coursework. So yeah, so that's kind of like during class, when you have a class. But when you have classes, when you start doing your research and also studying for your qualifying exams, your typical day is composed of reading and also, a lot of reading, but also designing experiments, running experiments. So one day might be like your Monday. Well, for me, I have my studies on Tuesday. So Mondays are always preparing for Tuesday's study. Tuesday's running the study. Wednesday is usually going back over the data from that we collected the previous day and writing, if you haven't already, kind of like your thoughts about what went well with the experiment and what didn't, or the study. And then Thursday and Friday are usually kind of having meetings to kind of get ready for what you're going to do the next week. So that's kind of a typical week, but a lot of times it's not so cut and dry as far as like when you're running a study and taking a class. Like, for me, I've always been running a study and taking classes. So typical week tends to transpose those things depending on what the workload is for class that week. If there's a heavy workload for class, that means I might do a little bit more work than research. But if it's a light workload for class, I might do a lot of research that week. So it kind of juggling it back and forth. Love what you do. My advice to people that want to pursue a PhD is you have to love what you do, because you spend so much time working on that particular topic, either reading, designing studies, designing software, running studies, analyzing data. You have to love what you do because you spend a whole lot of time with it. So if you don't love what you do, don't pursue a PhD in it. My advice is, if you like working independent of somebody telling you what to do, you're internally motivated about a particular topic or a particular area, go for it. Go for a PhD. because you are working on the cutting edge of research. You're working on the cutting edge of, figuring out solutions to new problems. You definitely want to be a problem solver to pursue a PhD, because that's basically, what you do is you're always trying to find new problems and also find new solutions for them, especially in the College of Computing. And what other recommendations? If you don't want a normal 9-to-5 job, and you don't want a normal, work schedule, like I can expect to be doing X, Y, and Z at every, be able to, regurgitate your schedule at any given time, then I think pursuing a PhD might be good, because you have to be flexible, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to do different things and explore different areas. So I think that would be it.